demonstration, we'll show you how you can create a schema envelope which will allow you to debatch the purchase orders as they come. So for instance, the scenario here would be that a company doesn't just send you one purchase order at a time, they might send you 15 purchase orders at a time. So we start this by going to the schema project here and add a new item. This will basically be our envelope schema. So there's no special schema to choose here, just regular schema. And then we will call this batch of purchase orders. Batch of standard purchase orders. And then I will make that my root element as well. Batch of standard purchase orders. The first thing we need to do is go to the schema and then scroll down in the properties, and then where it says envelope, you want to set that to yes. Now let's just suppose we have something here like a batch ID number. So we will add an attribute here called batch ID. And then under that we will add a record called purchase orders. And under there then we will actually have the real purchase orders. So under there we will add a schema node, another child record, and call it standard purchase order. Okay. And that record will have a mini occurs. So we come over here and give it an unbounded and must occur at least one time. And then under that we will right click and use for the first time, we haven't used this before, there is an option over here called any element, and that means that this standard purchase order can contain basically anything. Then we need to go back to our root element here, and we go back to our property window again, and we're going to look for the field called Body Xpath. When you click the dot 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 there, that will open this little window, and you can actually navigate to where you want to go. And so the body path is the container that contains the purchase orders that you want to split out. Nope, I said that wrong, sorry. It's actually under that. It's the thing that you actually want to split out. So the standard purchase order is where you actually want to split. So now I've gone to my editor and I found the old standard purchase order that we've been using to test with before. I'm now going to save this as a file called batch of standard purchase orders instance 1. Okay, and then what we're going to do is make sure we have the same structure as this file. So we need to kind of wrap that other file with our data in this file. So we could also do here the old trick where we're going to generate a test instance here. So we're going to go to properties, output, and then here call this orders. I'm going to call it model1.xml. Right click generate instance. And then I want to open that file as well. And that's the one that has the word model in it. Okay, so now what I want to do is copy the header here and stick it on front of this file, like that. Then copy the footer, which is right here, and put in the bottom of this file. And now, instead of just having one purchase order here, I might want to have 100. So there's the first one, and now there's the second one. And so the first one, let's just make this totally different. So we'll make it XYZ 1, 2, 3, and the next one will be XYZ 1, 2, 4. And I'm going to make these under $1,000 so we don't have to go through our approval process. Okay, I ran the file through, and this is the error that I got, which which means that I probably didn't get my Body Xpath set up correctly. So we see here it says error in the receive pipeline. BizTalk default XML receive pipeline. It says the reason: the disassembler cannot retrieve the body nodes using this XPath. Local name, batch of standard, and namespace so-and-so. Local name, purchase orders. Local name, standard purchase order. So I think what I did is I think I put one too many nodes in my schema. So let's go back here. So right here we're actually going to delete this, and then we're going to re-add the any node right here. Okay. Then we're going to go back to our schema, go back to our body path, which is actually here, Body Xpath, and then we're going to reselect now purchase orders, plural. And I'm going to redeploy that and try it again. Okay, looks like we got success that time. So at 5:13 here, I dropped in my new file, and you can see it went through the pipeline, and what happened? 2 orchestrations were started because I had 2 purchase orders in that file. And then you can actually see it did 4 inventory checks and then everything completed. So just to validate that, let's go look at our trace. So we're talking about 5:13, so you can see 2 orchestrations were started. The first one, if we look at it with the F3 browser here, let's look at the PO number. There's XYZ123. Okay, so it got the first purchase order, and then our second orchestration got XYZ124. So we basically have success here. We did a split inside the pipeline. Just to do it one more time, maybe a little more excitement, let's take our file here and let's copy it to instance 2, and let's edit that, and let's add a couple more purchase orders. So now let's take our second one here and let's copy it 2 more times. And this time we'll have XYZ125 and XYZ126. And if I had the time and inclination, I would change all these orders and numbers and people and everything. So now we have one big file with 4 purchase orders in it. And we're not really using this batch ID, but someone could send us something called batch of 4. Okay, so again, we're going to save that, and then we're going to drop this file. Let's clear our trace totally out, and then let's also clear our map out. Auto approve. Let's clear that directory out. So we have no auto approves at this time, and now we're going to go to map in, drop our instance number 2, let it go to hat, and let it all crank up here. And so now we're at 5:15, and you can see that we dropped one file here at 5:15, and you can see we did 4 orchestrations. And again, we can verify that by looking at the trace. We have org.po demo 4 of those, and we only have 1 file for the inventory checker routine. And then we can go to the approved or not needs approved directory, auto approved directory, and here's our 4 POs: XYZ123, XYZ124, XYZ125, and the last one, XYZ126. So just to recap what we did here, we set up an envelope schema in Visual Studio, and we could optionally have these extra items at the top, but we don't have to have that. And then you have a record here that we added called purchase orders. It could have any name you want, and then we use the any element under that. So we did a right click, insert any, which is down here. And so that can have any content you want, which would be our standard purchase order. Then we did a couple of tricks. We went to the schema and we set this to an envelope yes. That was the first trick. The second trick was we went to the root element and we set the Body Xpath. And the Body Xpath is really the container that contains the body. So it really should be container of the Body Xpath. So you always point one higher than where you really want to be. And what it's going to do is going to loop through there and look for the any elements, and it's going to split them out into separate files. Now, if for some reason we had bad data here, like what if we took, let's copy this file again and make it instance 3. And then here, what if we made a mistake and put something like standard purchase order X, and then we'll put the closing element the same. So now we should have 3 good purchase orders and 1 bad one. Okay, so we'll clear our non-approves, and then we'll go to demo in. Actually, let's clear our trace. Go to demo in. We copy instance 3. Go to hat. See what's happening. Okay, so now we're looking at 518, and not so good, is it? So out of our 4 purchase orders, basically all of them didn't process because one of them was bad. So if you come over here and look at the message, it's basically telling you here, I can't find a document specification by the message type, and you can see the X that we added there. And so basically none of our 4 purchase orders at all ran in this case. So there is a new feature in BizTalk 2006 that we didn't have in 2004 called recoverable interchange processing, and we will take a peek at that in our next video.